Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Russell here, and you might already know that on Thursday of this week, Chrystia Freeland, the Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister of Canada, released her 2022 budget, the document that shows us where the government's going to be spending all of their money this year. That's things like real estate, different benefits for different individuals, different social support programs, and this is the first of a series of videos where I'm going to be going into more depth about individual topics, and in today's video, we're going to talk about the support for seniors that was included in this budget. Now, we're going to go through all of it, but as seems to be a sort of pattern here when we talk about support for seniors, at first glance it seems a little bit overwhelming. And when I say overwhelming, I mean overwhelming in the sense that yet again, time and time again, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot, but there is some stuff, including a proposal for a brand new benefit, which we're going to get into. But before we go right into this document and get the exact words that are inside of this budget, I want to make sure you have a chance to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and check out the links in the description. For viewers of this channel only, you can get $50 for free when you sign up for Wealth Simple, and $25 for free when you sign up for Newton in the description. And without further ado, let's get into this document in the specific section called Supporting Our Seniors. So I've been slowly combing through this 304-page document to try to bring you the most important information, and for seniors, that's in this section. It's called Supporting Our Seniors. Now, I'm going to read through all of this and provide analysis around certain spots that might not make a whole lot of sense to hopefully make this a little bit more clear for you. So we start off saying here that Canada owes our seniors a great deal, and the federal government plays the leading role in providing seniors with much needed income support. And that OAS program consists of the OAS pension, the GIS, the Guaranteed Income Supplement, and the allowances, and that's Canada's largest non-pandemic federal program, and it's forecast to provide $68.2 billion in support to seniors over this year, growing to $87.2 in 2026 to 2027. So just going over stats here, and as of February 2022, there were close to 6.9 million OAS recipients and 2.2 million GIS recipients, and about 72,000 allowance recipients. Now, just to make things clear, OAS is the sort of more broad program, whereas GIS, that's the Guaranteed Income Supplement, is a benefit that's sort of targeted at the lowest income, most vulnerable seniors in Canada. Then they go on to say that these OAS and GIS benefits are indexed quarterly to the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. Now, when they're talking about this, they're talking about inflation. As we all know, we've got a very high cost of living here in Canada, and it's going up dramatically over time. Now, what I want to show you here is what this means for people who are on OAS and GIS, the fact that these supplements or these benefits are indexed to inflation. So here I'm on the GIS website, or rather the CPI website, where it shows us the average inflation for the year, and our last reading was around 5.7%. So if we go back now to the budget document that we were just looking at, they say that this budget, or that the GIS and the OAS, well, it's indexed quarterly to CPI, so that means that your OAS and GIS amounts will go up by 5.7% over the course of the year. Now, they say that they do this quarterly. They say it right here. So that means that every 3 months, they're going to sort of check what the CPI inflation number is, and then divide that by 4 to get the amount that's happened, like over the quarter, right? 3 months, and sort of increase your or your OAS and GIS payments by that amount. This isn't something that's new. This is something that they've been doing, but it seems like it's something that they're patting their backs about, saying, hey, seniors, we don't need to do a ton because the benefits that we already have set up are sort of tracking and increasing relative to the cost of living. Now, whether that's doing enough or not is a debate for another day. We scroll down here a little bit and we see a graph that again is the Canadian government saying, hey, look, we're doing a very good job when it comes to seniors, because relative to all Canadians, less seniors are in poverty, saying that only just a little bit above 3% of seniors are in poverty relative to the total amount of Canadians that are in poverty, which is around 6.4% based off of this graph here. So kind of showing things to say, maybe set your expectations. We're already doing well, so maybe we're not going to do quite as much. They're going into more history here about the supports for seniors, saying since 2016, the government's taken significant action to further support the seniors with a 10% increase to the maximum GIS benefit, reversing the announced increased eligibility age for these supports. You used to have to be 67, and they sort of brought that back to 65. I think that was at the beginning of Trudeau's tenure as Prime Minister. and saying that, okay, at the beginning of this July, there's going to be an increase for OAS pensions for seniors who are age 75 and over. So they're saying, like, checkmark, this is a very good thing, but it was also a very controversial thing at the time, saying that, okay, why are you creating two tiers of seniors here, right? You're saying only OAS pensioners over age 75 will be getting this additional 10% increase of over $766 to full pensioners in the first year, saying, like, you're creating this sort of like seniors plus and seniors minus, like they like these two different age categories. Many people, especially the Bloc Québécois and the NDP, weren't too happy about this, saying you're creating like a multi-class system here relative to age. So that's interesting to see the way that the OAS is being sort of split up there, and the fact that the government's saying, hey, look at the great job we're doing, even though this was controversial at the time. Then they go on to talk about the $6 billion over the past 10 years that they've sort of sent to provinces and territories to help seniors stay in their homes for longer, help with the delivery of home care services, and sort of saying also that, hey, we've funded 33,500 projects in hundreds of communities across Canada since 2004 to help seniors have like more active and more engaged communities around them. But now we get into a little bit of the new stuff here, right here, and they sort of put this a bullet point here saying, hey, take a look at this. This is one of the new things. I'll read it first and I'll give you my take afterwards. They say the Budget 2022 proposes the creation of an expert panel to study the idea of an aging at home benefit. The panel will report to the Minister of Seniors and the Minister of Health, and more details will be provided in the months to come. So without much detail, we can imagine that the aging at home benefit is some sort of monetary support that could go out to seniors in the future to help them stay in their homes for a longer amount of time, maybe helping with more retrofits. But it sounds like this would be more like a direct cash benefit rather than like the existing tax write-offs that you can, like the tax credits that you can apply, trying to retrofit your home to be more sustainable for aging there sort of later into life. Now, there are two other things I want to hone in on here, apart from like just talking about what the benefit itself it is, and the proposes section here and the expert panel to study section here. Now, proposes, let me explain this. This budget is only proposing things, right? This is a sort of soft document that says, here are the things that we want to do. Now, in order for them to actually create the expert panel, they need to pass legislation to get funding for that panel to actually do the studying that it needs to do to determine what a good aging at home benefit would look like. So where this actually is on the Liberals' priority list will have a lot to do with when this actually gets addressed, right? Because they have to write out like legislation, like a law, and get it debated and passed in the House of Commons. And we all know that things could be kind of slow there. And even when that proposal goes through, the legislation is written, well, that doesn't mean that, hey, the benefit exists now and this is something that you can apply for. No, instead it's that the expert panel has some money now so that they can talk to different stakeholders and different people in different communities to try to figure out, hey, if we were to do this, what should we do? Now, the expert panel and study from the government notoriously takes quite a long time. Something we'll talk about in another video is the whole EI changes and like the changes to the EI program. They keep on saying, we're going to study more, but then they never end up doing anything really. The next tangible thing that they're saying they want to do, and they use the same proposes language because they have to pass this through legislation, is an additional $20 million over 2 years to expand this New Horizon program for seniors. I'm not too familiar with the program, but it sounds like it's a way to sort of provide more funding to events and different community centers to actually hold programs for seniors so that there's a better community and quality of life in the area that seniors are living. So, okay, the $20 million kind of peanuts when you think about the entire country, but again, I'm going to sort of move on from that. And then here's what I was talking about before with the accessibility tax credit. This is the tax credit that people can apply for if they're adding things like ramps or sort of safety bars or things in a house that can help seniors age there more safely. So this is what they're going to be doing, is doubling the tax credit. Now, again, this isn't cash that's going into your pocket. This is, hey, when it comes time for you to do your taxes, you can write off the amount of these expenses and show a lower income, and as a result have to pay a lower amount of tax at tax time, or even get a larger tax return. So they're doubling this up to $20,000 for 2022, but that's not $20,000 that you can sort of get back from your taxes. That's $20,000 of income you can deduct. So at maximum, that would lead to $3,000 in actual tangible money that you could get if your income taxes go negative, right? Or $3,000 less that you'd need to pay at tax time, depending on your tax situation. So again, that's a doubling increase from the maximum of $1,500 that it was previously. And that's it for senior specific supports, but there are a few other mentions of seniors that are sort of going to like have benefits from other programs that are being rolled out. Let me go over a few of them here. The first one is that by 2023, they're expecting for families that have under $90,000 of income to provide free dental care for those families. Now they're starting just with children this year. Only children under 12 years old will get this covered, fully supported dental care. But again, they're going to expand that to under 18 years old and seniors and persons living with a disability in 2023, with sort of broader implementation across the entire population by 2025. This is largely coming from this sort of merger agreement that we have with the Liberals and the NDP over the past weeks, where the NDP are saying, hey, we're going to support the Liberal government and keep them in power until 2025, but you got to do a couple things to make us actually want to support you. And this was one of the things, making progress on dental care. So this is one sort of side thing for seniors. Now this one could be a little bit controversial. We have a career extension tax credit that's going to be, again, studied. We're going to engage with experts, and maybe it'll never come, maybe it will come, right? This is the MO of the government in many cases, for a career extension tax credit, right? Boosting labor force participation of seniors. So potentially sort of incentives for seniors to continue working later in life, because like one, you can get paid obviously from the work that you do, but perhaps you can even write off more on your taxes and have to pay less tax to the government when you actually make that money. So a little bit of an incentive there. But people could also say like, hey, why are you trying to get more and more seniors to work? Shouldn't we be providing like an environment where people can healthily and comfortably retire? That's just one take. And in some liner notes, here is the final thing that we're going to cover today, and that is the Old Age Security 75 plus one-time payment. Now, this is something that was a big controversy over the past 6 months, with many people who received benefits like the CERB or the CRB no longer qualifying or not qualifying for as much GIS or OAS support on these benefits for seniors. So as a result of this, the Liberals said, hey, by May or so, April, May, seniors will get a 500, or actually I'm not entirely sure of the exact amount, but we'll get a one-time payment to make up for the fact that they didn't qualify for as much GIS as a result of these benefits. Now they're sort of like looking forward and saying, hey, well, that one-time payment could do the very same thing, applying to seniors' income, and as a result making them qualify for less GIS and OAS. So they're just saying that, hey, we're not going to count that in your income, just making sure that another huge mistake like they made with the CRB and the CERB doesn't happen again. But that just about does it. We see what the Liberal government has planned here to support seniors in the future, and I think for most it'll sound pretty underwhelming, but they preface that with saying, hey, don't worry, the OAS and the GIS, which are the main supports for seniors, well, we don't need to artificially raise those any more than we already are, because it's indexed to inflation. If we see inflation and the cost of living go up, well, so too will the OAS and GIS. Now, whether or not the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, is a good gauge of how much the cost of living is going up, that can be debated. Some people think the CPI is not the best gauge for a number of reasons. Some people think, oh, well, that's pretty good, but that's a whole topic for an entirely different video. Of course, the main thing here is that aging at home benefit that is being studied. It sounds like, again, cash to seniors who are staying in whatever sort of residence they're staying in. Or I guess we're going to get more details after this legislation passes to set up a committee to then go find out what they're going to do about it. So I always get frustrated when I see in these budgets things that are put in there to make them look good, like, hey, here's something we might do in the future, here's something we might do in the future, with not a whole hell of a lot for right now. That's the way I see things here on this budget when it comes to seniors. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, because I'm always bringing out more information like this, especially around budget time, elections, so you can have an idea of like, what is the government actually doing right now. And if you haven't already done so, you can check out the links in the description. If it's your first time buying a stock or buying crypto, cryptocurrency, you can use those first 2 links in the description to get either $50 or $25 for free. And when you do that, you support the channel. But with all that said, thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really hope this video has helped you out at least a little bit, and I'll see you next time.